The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct has happened, and there's a lot to talk about, especially all over the internet right now. We had a really good event. We had Nintendo Switch 2, obviously, which holds all of the power and the performance needed with its new features. We got some actual dedicated good games for it, and then third-party support. You know, the new Mario Kart game looks insane. It looks great. This is something that I didn't expect Nintendo to go for. I think having the Nintendo Switch for as long as I've had it has lessened my expectations for games like this, and this just showcases one of many opportunities Nintendo can use to present really powerful titles on the console. Pair that in with the new Donkey Kong announcement, and like, I'm not even the biggest Donkey Kong fan, and I think this game looks sick, and I'm willing to try it with its new creative art style. And then we talk about the upgraded remasters for Zelda, for both the Breath of the Wild and the Tears of the Kingdom. And what I've noticed is that you ultimately get the ability to enjoy these video games at their fullest potential. You get to see the actual direction and art style of the game for how it should have been, and you get a better experience. So I'm looking forward to this because, wow, these two games, I'm replaying them in their entirety just because it's going to be a whole new experience with this hardware. Hell, we got Capcom's Street Fighter 6 on the console as well. And this is just shocking to me because I'm personally a big fan of playing fighting games. When I traveled to EVO last year, I had a really rough time trying to travel on the go and get my training in. Just imagine the opportunities that a lot of competitive people will have to practice on the go and get more different types of fighting games and more games of their liking onto this system. Pair that in with the new GameCube support, and a lot of FGC fans are going to be very lucky if they get Super Smash Bros. Melee on it as well. But then there comes the silly, stupid stuff that Nintendo does, and it kind of pushes all of that down the drain, and people forget about the impact that this console can have and focus more on the stupid things Nintendo's doing, like making us pay for a game of a manual for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think this was a stupid decision. Whoever was behind this, you should have known that this would be a good packet. I mean, this is the game that could help Nintendo Switch 2 be cool and be something that's talked about. And now ultimately Nintendo has put this game out on the big screen, right? And they've shown it off and they said, no, you're gonna pay for this. And now people are more focused on the fact that this thing that is normally a thing that's free with many other games to help you understand the limits of your system is a paid item, and they don't want anything to do with it. And I think that Nintendo just freaking took a cleaver to the knee of this game specifically. I see what the idea was. I see the approach. I see what Nintendo is trying to do. I think it's a magnificent game. Don't get me wrong. But the execution was poor, Nintendo. The only way to get this game back into the eyes of people is to make it free. And I feel like Nintendo is too bold and brash to make that decision. They're starting to get a little cocky and their ego's going up. They're doing stupid stuff again. Aside from that game, we have to look at the pricing of Nintendo Switch 2, and a lot of people are really angry about it, but this is kind of something I already predicted anyway. A $450 price tag. There's a lot of games on here that are going to be set at the $80 mark, and I think the $80 mark for the video games, that's too high. $70, we were just getting used to that. Now it's going up by 10. Other industry leaders are going to follow in the footsteps of Nintendo here. But if Nintendo believes that this game is $80 quality, well, we're going to match that $80 quality with the $80 review. Also, we kind of have to talk about the new cartridge situation, because Nintendo is now going to do a cartridge-based system for their new Nintendo Switch 2 games, where the cartridge is treated more as a key to a digital door than it is an actual cartridge filled with the actual game knowledge in it. So traditionally, if you got a Nintendo Switch 1 game, you get the cartridge, you pop it in your system, boom, the data is already on the card. You can play the game without really needing to do anything. But now, if this game key that we have can't reach the servers to pull the game files back to this Nintendo console, then the game doesn't exist. It's just a chip with a logo on it. This is obviously Nintendo's biggest way to combat piracy on their system, and of course, what am I to say? This is Nintendo here. They're going to do what they can to protect their property and rake in their profits. They're a big company. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. It's just interesting because we saw piracy running so rampant with Nintendo Switch 1, where people were basically making the MIG cartridges where you could inject it just like a 3DS or DS flash card. When your system has that at that point, you're compromised, you're done. Ultimately though, that's some of the good, some of the bad of this Nintendo Switch Direct, and I'm excited for the future of Nintendo Switch, but I want to see Nintendo make a couple of improvements to areas where they could definitely improve, but they have to get past the arrogant factor and stop being so set in stone with certain things. But yeah, I'll see you guys on April 9th. I'll be doing live streams and video uploads of the Nintendo Switch pre-order service that's going on for this console, so we'll be there as well. Catch you later.